The Nigerian Youth Parliament NYP is a platform established by the Nigerian government to involve young people in governance, leadership, development, and national decision-making processes. It was initiated in 2008 under the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and is modeled after the Nigerian Senate and other youth parliamentary systems around the world. The aim is to empower young people to contribute to national development through dialogue, legislation, and advocacy. On December 8, 2021, the 5th Assembly of the Nigerian Youth Parliament was inaugurated. One of the members was a young representative who offered himself for quality, deliberate, and purposeful representation of the youth population of Ogun Central. At this point in time, I welcome you to the program, Young Parliamentarians. I'm Joshua Ogwejide, your host. Our guests shall be unveiled after this timeout. Don't go away. Welcome back. Our guest on this episode of the program is the immediate past member of the Nigerian Youth Parliament representing the ever-resilient youth of Ogun Central District, Honorable Mubarak Salisu. Nice to have you in our studio.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Your journey into the 5th Assembly, of the Nigerian Youth Parliament is quite a remarkable one, considering your emergence. Some sections of Ogun youth population, however, allege that you are a beneficiary of godfatherism, meaning you are being sponsored by the bigwigs as far as Ogun politics is concerned. This set of youths also believe you are not being re-elected. Lead us to the true situation of youth parliament in Ogun State.
So I would start from the process of selection. As we know, the Nigerian Youth Parliament is a federal government's initiative to bring on youths to be involved in governance and be trained in aspects of leadership. The federal government, the selection process goes this way. The federal government reaches out to the states through the Ministry of Youth. Then the Ministry of Youth decides how or who is selected. So in my case, I had to get selection or nomination through stakeholders. I've been active in youth advocacy and empowerment before then. If there is anything like a godfather, it would be my predecessor, Honorable Akinyosho Olushesi. I'd been in contact with him while he was a member of the parliament, and he was the one that provided guidance and assistance in how I was nominated. Reached out to stakeholders, visited the Ministry of Youth numerous times to see that I got selected and nominated so that I can contribute my quota to youth development in Ogun Central and the nation at whole.
Okay, I went through the report of your stewardship after the expiration of your tenure. In that report, you said you and your team impacted over 5,000 youths across the Ogun Central District by facilitating various programs, as well as opportunities such as the Ogun Central Public Speaking Championship, Ogun State Town Hall Meeting discourses, and many more. Can you shed more light on this?
As we all know, the prevalence of drug and substance abuse is high, as well as the spate of insecurity in the country. So me, myself, and my team came together to brainstorm on how we can move forward and reduce the vices in society. The town hall meeting was one of those platforms we used to reach out to youth, stakeholders, government officials, non-governmental organizations, and other relevant stakeholders within the youth constituency. It was an avenue for us to rub minds and discuss on the way forward. We spoke on job creation, skill acquisition, the prevalence of drug abuse, cult activities, and all of that. So it was a very eventful occasion. We had over 2,000 youths across board present at that event, and we developed a communique in which we sent to the state government, and actions have been taken on them, and some of the recommendations have been implemented. In the same vein, we didn't want to limit it to just the older youth. We reached out to senior secondary school students to get them involved in the aspect of reducing social vices within the society, because that's where it starts from. We have to start from a young age so that they can develop themselves and be useful members of society.
So you mean in total?
Yeah.
You've been able to impact 5,000 youths?
Yes.
Because you mentioned 2,000 now, and when you spread across all the quarters that you visited, or all the quarters where you advocated for youth participation in politics and what have you, you're talking about 5,000 youths.
Yes.
Within your Central District.
Yes. So the 2,000 I mentioned earlier was just for that event. The 5,000 is for all the entirety of my activities and events. It touched over 5,000 youths. We reached out to youths, students, and youth groups across the senatorial district. So that's it. Okay,
before I move to your views and motions, record has it that in November 2021, just before your official inauguration in the Parliament, you were drafted as a member of the Adult Committee on Drug and Substance Abuse Control, and this gave birth to your chairing of a subcommittee on evidence gathering constituted to develop a policy that can effectively address the issue of drug and substance abuse amongst youths across the country. What was the outcome of your investigation, and was there any recommendation?
Yeah, so I particularly chaired the subcommittee on evidence gathering. Myself and members of the committee, we sourced data through research and visiting hospitals and institutions that treat and resolve cases involving drug and substance abuse. We gathered data which was important and useful in the creation of the drug and substance abuse policy brief. And we had quite a number of recommendations, one of which included peer-to-peer review and tutelage, which gave birth to programs across the country, including that of my colleague, which was the inter-school debate on drug abuse. It was an avenue for students to educate themselves and be aware of the ills and of taking drugs and abusing substances. So those are some of the recommendations and the activities that was born out of the policy brief.
Are the recommendations being, implemented at state levels, even at local government levels? Catch them young. You start from the grassroots.
Yes, the public speaking competition that I did was born out of those recommendations, because we believe that being aware of the issue is one of the ways to remedy it. When students are made to debate or speak to themselves about the ills and disadvantages of abusing drugs, sometimes students are more likely to listen to themselves, to their peers, rather than the elderly ones. So those are some of the activities that was born out of the recommendations. And it wasn't just in my senatorial district or that of my colleague in Lagos Central. It was cut across the whole nation. We had members running similar programs and doing advocacy in that light as well.
Okay. Time to go on another break. Do stay with us.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
If you're just joining us, the program is Young Parliamentarians, showing on NTA Parliament situated in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You can as well join the conversation via the platforms scrolling on your screen. I've been speaking with the immediate past member representing Ogun Central in the Nigerian Youth Parliament, Young Parliamentarian Mubarak Salisu. Again, let's now talk about your views and motions, which look quite interesting and inspiring. Most topical of your views and motions is the one on the need for the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, in collaboration with the National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly, to institutionalize 6-month legislative internship at the National Assembly or State Houses of Assembly for members of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. Also noticeable is the one on the establishment of farm settlements in each senatorial district of the Federation, with the aim of achieving food sufficiency, combating youth unemployment, to tackle insecurity and aid economic growth. Nigerian youths are all ears to beam searchlights on this and many more.
I sponsored and co-sponsored quite a number of bills and motions, and some of them are those that you have mentioned now. The bill to get members of the Youth Parliament to intern with federal and state parliamentarians in their respective assemblies. The Nigerian Youth Parliament is a platform for us to gain knowledge about legislative process and build on our leadership capacity. And the internship is one way in which to achieve that. You know, you can have all the theory, but if there's no practical, you can barely go anywhere. So proposing that youths intern with the federal and state legislators will give them a better idea of how legislative processes go and how to build collaboration and engage with stakeholders. And it also gives the parliamentarians, the youth parliamentarians, an opportunity to bring closer to their federal and state representatives the challenges that are facing the youth. It also gives them an opportunity for them to input their ideas into the legislative process for better actualization of youth development and empowerment initiatives. The other bill that you mentioned, the setting up of farm settlements, you know, majority of the problems, particularly insecurity, is due to the lack of job or lack of something doing for youths, and the lack of it, they move to other things. As they say, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. So if you have youths that are working on farm settlements, they really have time to abuse drugs or engage in cultism or be instruments in the hands of people that want to cause mayhem in the society. So those are some of the bills. And other bills that I proposed were mainly focused on youth development, and youth empowerment and
skill
capacity building.
acquisitions.
Yes, so there are things that I have close to my heart, and it's why I've proposed and co-sponsored some of those bills.
Okay, as part of your community engagement, I found out that you convened the Ogun Central Inter School Public Speaking Championship, like you earlier mentioned, and I learned that you gathered over 1,000 students across your Central District. In fact, you received a commendation letter for this initiative. What did you seek to achieve?
So with the Public Speaking Championship, it was to build in the students and youth public speaking skills, critical thinking skills, and it was, aside that, is an opportunity for students to be aware of the social vices in the society. The theme of the competition was curbing social vices, you know. So it was an avenue for the kids to speak to themselves, to research on
Catching them young.
yes, catching them young, to research on issues that affect society and start building in them the consciousness of avoiding social vices and all of that. So it was a really good one, and I appreciate the State Ministry of Education. They were really supportive all through. In fact, I got a commendation letter from the commissioner, as you have just said. So it was a really good one, and I wish to do more of those kind of programs to reach out and impact the youth of the society, because the youth are the bedrock of the nation, and if you have a bad youth, you are going to have a bad future. So as a nation, so it's one of those activities that I hope to keep up and do more of.
Okay, Honorable Salisu, another high point is your media engagement and campaigns. One of such campaigns was the monthly breast cancer awareness and electoral sensitization alongside participation of youth in electioneering. Where did you derive such motivation from? Because I learned from, from experience that your people, some of them shy away from the media. They wouldn't want to engage the media. Wouldn't know why, But you've been, in your reports, I saw so many, things that has to do with your media engagement and your initiative like this breast cancer, monthly breast cancer, awareness program and other programs.
So in engaging the media, I recognize the media as an important arm of, would I say government or
arm of the society?
Of the society, yes, important arm of the society. And I realized that it is one thing to do and to speak to people around you. It is another thing to leverage on the wider reach of the media. I can just speak to one or two people and say, oh, do this, do that, do this, let's make this kind of change in the society. But if I go on TV or if I go on radio, I reach thousands, if not millions of people at the time, and it gives me an opportunity to shape opinion and galvanize people towards collective development. And the breast cancer awareness, many people are shy of speaking of it and are not well versed or knowledgeable in those aspects. So I chose the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I think it's October of every year, to do that awareness campaign to sensitize people on early detection, prevention, and the importance of seeking medical attention
on time.
In time, yes.
I hope your successor will be taking note of these initiatives and it can continue. Government is a continuum, so it wouldn't be as if your successor will. Is there any relation? Are you relating? Like, I believe your successor should have gone through your scorecard, and see where things to still sustain as part of your policies.
Yeah, I mean, constant communication with my successor, and I've been providing guidance and I plan to mentor all through our session, because it is one thing to attempt to make strides on community development initiatives. It is another thing to have more people doing it. The more people you have on that path,
willingness.
the more development that can come to the community and society at large. So
let's talk about the challenges. What are the bottlenecks that at once culminated in a disappointment or embarrassing moment for you in your legislative career?
I would say limited funding, because let's cut to the truth of it. It's difficult to get finances sometimes for some of these programs. I remember having to write over 100 letters to different stakeholders, organizations, in order to get sponsorship for some of these programs. So that has been a major challenge, even as I wish to continue to do some of those initiatives. With money, there's a lot that you can do.
Is there no rapport between you and the executive arm of government, even the legislative arm of government? Because I believe you're working hand in hand with the state houses of assembly and even the National Assembly. I think there should be a budget for the state youth parliament and the Nigerian youth parliament, even children parliament.
I wish there was, but there isn't any budget for community development projects or initiatives. We have to source for funds ourselves, and I was lucky because I was able to get funds. Majority of my colleagues were not as lucky and
privileged as you. Okay.
Yes, many of us have other things that we do. It's just the desire to make a change in society that has pushed us to being members of the parliament. So,
any other bottleneck, any other challenge?
Had bureaucratic challenges as well. In getting approvals to use government facilities or getting sponsorship. It was hell, but we're able to overcome through persistence and patience and building a stakeholder relationship. So it was a tumultuous time, but we thank God we were able to overcome majority of the challenges.
A quick one: are there lessons learned which other young people can gain from your experience?
I'll say it pays. It pays to be patient, as I said earlier, and it pays to persevere, because if you don't have patience and perseverance, there's hardly anything you can do in the face of challenges. Many would rather just give up, but staying the course and knowing the thing that you want to achieve and having the passion for it. Passion is very important, because if you don't have the passion, any little challenge, you are backing out. But with patience, perseverance, and the passion for community development, it will keep you going.
Okay. You are no longer a member of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. What is next in your political career and any aspiration?
Well, it might be too early to say, but I desire to be a member of the society who keeps on contributing its quota to community and national development.
So you don't see yourself being a local government chairman one day, a senator one day?
Well, it's a possibility, and it's something I hope can manifest in future, but now it's too early to say. I wish to do whatever I can to help society, whether be it individually or holding a public office. And I understand the importance of holding a public office, because my desire to be a member of the Nigerian Youth Parliament was born out of the usefulness of a platform, because before the parliament I was contributing to society in my individual capacity, mentoring youth, providing support and bringing opportunities closer to them. But with the Nigerian Youth Parliament, I've been able to reach more people and make a bigger change, you know. So being a member or being an elected official or a holder of a public office would better my chances of widen my influence in making some of those changes that I desire to make in the society.
Okay, Honorable Mubarak Salisu, thanks for finding your time to feature on the program. Honestly, this discussion has been an eye-opener, not only for me, but I believe also, you know, viewers also will agree with me that it has been an eye-opener. On this note, we've come to the end of this episode of the program, Young Parliamentarians. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay. We look forward to receiving your feedbacks on the social media platforms scrolling on your screen, as these are important to us, especially as a contribution to the program. See you next time on this same channel. Once again, I'm Joshua Wishley. Bye for now.